At long last, we have a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Hangman Adam Page has once again climbed the mountain and claimed the top prize, but it took absolute carnage, chaos, and a small army to make it happen. The main event of AEW All in Texas was everything fans had hoped for and then some. Bloody, unpredictable, and stacked with returns and run-ins that pushed the story into overdrive. As many expected, Jon Moxley and the Death Riders weren't going to play fair. Outside interference was baked into the formula. These men brought their brand of violence with no restraints: glass shards, heavy chains, folding tables, barbed wire-wrapped chairs, and even a terrifying bed of nails were all fair game in this brutal war. But the twists and surprises elevated the drama beyond the weapons. Among the many shockers, Will Ospreay was stretchered out early, leaving his involvement a mystery. Prince Nana also played his role in the madness. Then, the arena lights dimmed and the video screen lit up with a chilling promo from Darby Allin. He declared he was going to take everything from Moxley, and moments later, he descended from the rafters, channeling peak WCW Sting energy from 1997. The arena exploded. But AEW wasn't done yet. Out of nowhere, a mysterious figure in a Blue Panther mask entered the ring, delivering a thunderous running knee while leading the crowd in yes chants. The mask came off to reveal a returning Bryan Danielson, more physically involved than he has been in months. Fans who hadn't seen him take bumps in a while got their wish. As the mayhem reached its peak, Swerve Strickland entered the fray. He leveled the Young Bucks with a chain, then handed that very weapon to Hangman Page. Page didn't hesitate. He used it to deliver a devastating buckshot lariat that sent Moxley crashing under the bed of nails. That was the end. That violent, poetic image, Moxley sprawled out and motionless on a bed of sharp metal, closed out AEW's biggest show of the year. Fans who had long prayed for the Death Riders to be dethroned finally got their wish. It had been over 270 days since the AEW World Championship changed hands. Many had forgotten what the belt even looked like. It turns out, yes, it still has some silver on it, not just gold. AEW All in Texas delivered on every level. It was long, it was exhausting, but it was absolutely unforgettable. And in classic AEW fashion, the pay-per-view left fans satisfied. As the co-main event, Kenny Omega faced Kazuchika Okada in a battle to unify the Continental and International titles. On paper, it was a dream match, reviving one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling history. But in practice, it served as a bittersweet reminder of how much time has passed. Let's be clear, this wasn't a bad match. Far from it. Omega and Okada are still better than most of the industry, even on an average day. But it wasn't the heart-pounding 45-minute epic we saw in New Japan Pro Wrestling a decade ago. These are older, more battered versions of their prime selves. One tweet summed it up perfectly: like watching two middle-aged dads reenact their old college basketball highlight reel. Impressive, but not the same. That's what this was. Two legends performing their classics, slightly slower, more methodical, and clearly feeling the wear and tear of their storied careers. Still, this match had emotional weight. It gave us a new unified champion and showed that both Omega and Okada still have the ability to deliver in big match scenarios, even if their days of redefining wrestling are behind them. AEW finally delivered the long-awaited singles match between two of their biggest women's division stars, Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. In what was one of the most anticipated bouts of the night, Storm handed Moné her first-ever singles loss in AEW and retained the Women's World Championship. This match started off slower than many expected. The first half featured a lot of feeling out and cautious pacing, which might have disappointed fans who were expecting fireworks from the start. But in the second half, the intensity escalated in a big way. Suddenly, these two stars were trading stiff shots, risky moves, and dramatic near falls. By the end, they had fans eating out of the palm of their hands. Storm and Moné tore the house down and produced one of the best AEW women's matches of the year, maybe even of all time. The decision to have Storm win was the right one. Moné doesn't need the title yet, and her putting over Toni only strengthens the division's credibility. And for those conspiracy theorists suggesting Moné refuses to lose, consider this proof that she's all in for the long-term story. Massive credit to both performers and Tony Khan for this booking. The AEW Tag Team title match saw the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, successfully defend their titles against two other teams, Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and Christian Cage, Nick Wayne. While the match itself was entertaining and technically sound, what happened afterward stole the spotlight. After the bell, FTR came out to confront Christian Cage. The tension was thick, and then came the betrayal. Nick Wayne shockingly turned on his mentor, siding with FTR in a vicious post-match beatdown. They set up for a brutal concerto when suddenly the crowd erupted. Adam Copeland, aka Cope, stormed the ring with a 2x4 wrapped in nails. He cleared house, chased FTR away, and helped Cage to his feet only to tell him to go find himself. This segment reignites the Copeland vs. FTR feud, which had gone quiet during his hiatus. AEW seems to be planting the seeds for a massive tag team collision, likely at All Out in Toronto. It's personal, it's heated, and it's one of AEW's most compelling tag team angles heading into the fall. In one of the more emotional moments of the night, Adam Cole made a heartbreaking announcement. He was vacating the TNT title due to a serious, undisclosed medical issue. Cole gave a vulnerable promo, saying he wasn't ready to discuss retirement, but admitted his wrestling future is uncertain. The title was then contested in a fatal four-way featuring Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, and Kyle Fletcher. In a surprise outcome that thrilled the Texas crowd, veteran Dustin Rhodes captured the title. It was a beautiful, feel-good moment. Dustin has been a workhorse for AEW since day one, and winning the title in front of a hometown crowd added a layer of emotional resonance. Many believe Kyle Fletcher will eventually dethrone him, and that's fine. This was about honoring a legend. AEW played it just right. MJF won the Casino Gauntlet match, earning himself a future AEW World title shot. On paper, it should have been a big deal. In execution, the match felt like a letdown. While some stars like Mark Briscoe, MJF, and Juice Robinson got good reactions, much of the field lacked crowd connection. Despite a stacked lineup, Ricochet, Bandito, Konosuke Takeshita, Anthony Bowens, Kota Ibushi, Josh Alexander, Mystico, and others, the match never found its rhythm. It served as a glaring example of AEW's depth problem. They have a lot of in-ring talent, but not all of it feels like main event material. This match exposed the disconnect between skill and star power. Still, MJF winning was the correct choice. He remains one of AEW's biggest names, and his eventual world title feud, whoever it ends up being with, will be must-see. Let's just hope the build is more exciting than this match was. In contrast to the men's gauntlet, the AEW women's gauntlet match was a breath of fresh air. While it didn't boast as many marquee names, it was better paced, more exciting, and ultimately more satisfying. Entrants included Tekla, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Megan Bayne, Harley Cameron, returning with her signature mask, Queen Aminata, Sky Blue, Mina Shirakawa, Julia Hart, and Syuri. The match showcased AEW's growing women's division and offered a chance for rising stars to shine. In the end, it was Athena who claimed victory, defeating Mina with her signature finisher. While Mina taking the pin was a surprise, it wasn't a burial. Athena is hot right now and feels like the natural next challenger for Toni Storm. This match was proof that AEW's women can absolutely deliver when given the time and spotlight. The night opened with a six-man tag featuring Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs against the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd. The match itself was fine and not bad, not great. It served its role as a tone setter without stealing the spotlight. Samoa Joe secured the win by choking out Wheeler Yuta, which felt like the obvious outcome. The bigger story came after the match. Claudio wrapped a steel chair around Joe's neck and stomped on it, in a brutal post-match assault that wrote Joe off television. Expect Joe to be out for a while, possibly to rest or sell injuries, but the segment did its job. AEW All in Texas delivered an emotionally charged, surprise-filled night that reset many storylines and elevated fresh angles. From Hangman Page's crowning moment to Adam Cole's tearful farewell and multiple jaw-dropping returns, the show was packed with moments fans will be talking about for weeks. Not every match landed, and pacing issues cropped up here and there, especially in the gauntlet matches, but AEW's strengths, its unpredictability, storytelling, and commitment to long-term arcs shine through once again. If AEW can clean up its weekly programming and capitalize on the momentum from this event, the second half of 2025 could be very big for the company.